All right, folks, Yishai Fleisher here. I'm broadcasting to you from Texas. That's right, I'm on the road, and now I find myself in Texas. That's where my wife's family is from, and Texans make great settlers, I like to say. It makes for strong Jews because it brings together that Texas spirit of pioneering, of being big, and my wife comes from exactly such a Texas family, so it's a blessing to be here on the one hand. On the other hand, of course, miss the Holy Land. And dealing with issues from the Holy Land, including, once again, statements from Prime Minister Netanyahu, which I think are very problematic and undermine our real victory that needs to happen in Gaza and in the region. Why do I say that? Because in an interview with Bill Hemmer just now out of Jerusalem, Prime Minister Netanyahu says things that once again show that there's an attitude in Israel, which I like to call a ghetto mentality. Ghetto mentality is when you want to stay small, when you want to be defensive, when you don't want to rule or govern other people because you think that in the ghetto, you don't govern other people, you just govern yourself. But as a power, Israel has to govern others. That's right, all powers govern other people, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with governing other people, even when you're a national state like Israel, which is a Jewish state. It still has to govern other peoples, just like Turkey and Iran and the United States and almost any serious power does. It simply governs other people that are not the ethnic national group of the national state. Okay, so here's Prime Minister Netanyahu. Well, let's get into the things that he says. He says them right at the beginning, and I want to deal with this psychological issue that Israel has that forces it to stay small and not to be victorious in a time when we so desperately need victory. So here's Prime Minister Netanyahu speaking with Bill Hemmer of Fox. Let's watch just a few minutes. We'll make it so clear what the problem is.
Mr. Prime Minister, thank you for your time today.
Well, glad to see you again.
Thank you. After this interview, you will go immediately into a meeting with your security cabinet. Will Israel take control of all of Gaza?
We intend to, in order to assure our security, remove Hamas there, enable the population to be free of Gaza, and to pass it to civilian governance. That is not Hamas and not anyone advocating the destruction of Israel.
Okay, so you're already starting to get hints of what he's saying. He's saying we want to get rid of Hamas, but we want to pass civilian control to somebody else. Our problem is that Hamas endangers us. He never says, this is our land, right? He's never reaching out to the conclusion that this is our land and we have to hold on to it and nobody else can do it. And it's the right thing, it's the moral thing, it's the historic thing. He's not saying that. And you'll see that Bill gives him another opportunity to kind of fix that up, but he doesn't take the bait.
That's what we want to do. We want to liberate ourselves and liberate the people of Gaza from the awful terror of Hamas. And you were in the Gaza Strip today. You met Palestinians who are fighting Hamas because finally they see that they have a future. They can rid.
Right. And Prime Minister Netanyahu, those Gazans that are fighting Hamas, who do they want to rule Gaza? I could tell you that when I was living in Gaza, Arabs told me, don't give up control of this land. You don't understand the forces that are going to take over here, right? So, okay, you have Arabs who are bravely fighting the Hamas. Who do you think they want to see govern in Gaza? Here's the answer. The answer is that they want Israel to govern. They know that there's nobody but Israel. They know that the other players, if it be Egypt or the Palestinian Authority, God forbid, or the United Nations, or even the United States, will never be able to actually govern it. And there'll be corruption and jihadism will rise up again. And that this is exactly what has been tried for the last 20 years, where Israel had some kind of military governance around. Security was contained with the Navy, with a fence, with cameras, with air balloons, with all kinds of stuff like that. And yet inside, Israel allowed the jihad to take over. So what are you saying, Prime Minister Netanyahu, that you want the same formula that led to the October 7th massacre? That's what you want? You want that same thing to play out again? Let's keep listening.
Themselves of this awful tyranny that not only holds our hostages, but holds 2 million Palestinians in Gaza hostage.
and holds our land hostage. Add that one phrase in. That holds our land hostage, holds our whole country hostage with their terrorism. Who do you think is going to do a better job at controlling that? Nobody.
That's got to end.
Are you saying today that you will take control of the entire 26-mile Gaza Strip as it was 20 years ago to this month in 2005?
Well, we don't want to keep it. We want to have a security perimeter. We don't want to govern it. We don't want to be there as a governing body. We want to hand it over to Arab forces that will govern it properly without threatening us and giving Gazans a good life. That's not possible with Hamas. The only way that you're going to have a different future is to get rid of this neo-Nazi army. The Hamas are monsters. Look at what they're doing to our people. Look at what they're doing to the way they massacred, raped, beheaded our people.
I get it. They're really, really bad. They're really bad, the Hamas. But you're going to find some other Arabs. They're going to somehow govern Gaza. You're going to find somebody else that they will govern it civilly. We don't want to be a governor there. We don't want to be a sovereign. Why not? Why not? What's the problem with being a governor? Why? Because you don't want to govern other people? Why? Because of this ghetto mentality that we want to be small and we don't want to govern others? Why not? You're supposed to govern others when you're a power. In fact, when Israel governs others, there's more peace, more prosperity, more better life for those peoples than when the Arabs try to govern our land. Has that experiment worked? Has the PA in Judea and Samaria, the so-called West Bank, has that worked? No. Has given it over to the PA, which is exactly what you're saying now, in Gaza, and was taken over by Hamas. Did that work? No. Take responsibility. Hold on to your land. Govern and be sovereign. It makes sense. The Arabs want it. The Jewish people want it because it's our land. And nobody can do it better. You can't offload your responsibility. You can't think that some other sovereign. And this here's kind of my metaphoric kind of making fun of this attitude. Who can take our land and govern it, please? Can somebody please govern this land for me? God's like, I want you to govern your land. You gave it away. You, Prime Minister Netanyahu, you voted to give this land away. Then you allowed a security perimeter to secure it, and it wasn't secure at all. You failed in allowing a blindness to creep into the army. You passed hundreds of millions of dollars through Qatar to Hamas, which went to building terror tunnels. You did not foresee the October 7th preparations and planning and implementation. You, Prime Minister Netanyahu, gave over 1,000 terrorists to bring out one Gilad Shalit. Those terrorists became the leaders of the October 7th movement. Now your opportunity is to fix the sin of the 2005 disengagement. The timing is perfect. Even Bill knows the timing is perfect. Bill from Fox is like, you don't want to you want to take over. It's 20 years after, so you could fix the sin of the disengagement, Prime Minister Netanyahu. Netanyahu's like, no, we're going to give it to some responsible Arab entity. Some responsible Arab entity. Will you please, the responsible Arab entity, would you please stand up? Oh, it'll be like Egypt? Oh, they're quite responsible, right? They haven't taken in one refugee. Inhumane bastards. Okay, not one refugee have they taken in. They've closed their border. They're going to now govern those enemies of Israel. Oh, maybe Syria and their administration filled with jihadis. Who else can you find? Which governor? Oh, the PA, the one that pays Hamas terrorists, right? The payers to slayers. And to think that our soldiers are laying down their life to fight to clean up Gaza so that Prime Minister Netanyahu can announce that some other body is going to try to govern it and do the same damn thing. And it's easy to not see it. It's easy to hear Prime Minister Netanyahu and be like, well, that sounds reasonable what he's saying. We'll control it militarily in the security, and another party will control it in a civilian because we don't want to rule over 2 million people. Baloney, malarkey, garbage. Okay. First thing is there should have been a corridor for refugees. Okay. There needed to be created a status for refugees to be able to leave the war zone. That's number one. You could have gotten rid of a lot of the 2 million people. Secondarily, you have to control your land because it's your land. You have to control your land because it's been shown that if you don't control your land, the jihad takes over. And this idea of the two-state solution that somebody else is going to govern has been an abject failure. It's been a failure. Read the map. Don't offer us the same solution. And I knew the whole time that Prime Minister Netanyahu is in this mindset because I knew from the get-go that he was never issuing one proclamation where he said, we're going to really control Gaza. Now he's being forced to militarily control Gaza, but still comes up with this idea, but we'll find some responsible Arab entity to control it. It's over. It's over. And your legacy is about to be over if you don't understand how to make the mental change from ghetto Jew to sovereign Jew to governor Jew, governor of Judea. By the way, little known fact, Gaza is part of the inheritance of the tribe of Judah, okay? So it's actually part of Judea. All right, let's let Prime Minister Netanyahu say a few more words.
Men and women burn our babies, and they are...
Blah, blah, blah. Bad guys are bad. Bad guys are bad. We know bad guys are bad, so destroy them already.
Really cruel to their own people, because when we try to take them away from the combat zones, they shoot them. They want people to be civilian casualties. They want a starvation policy that they themselves are trying to put into being, and we're doing everything to reverse that. They have to go. I think President Trump has said it. You have to see two things in Gaza. You have to see Hamas eliminated, and you have to have the hostages released. And he's absolutely right.
No. You have to see the Hamas eliminated, and I don't see you quite eliminating them yet. You have to see the hostages released, but that should be through military strength and the defeat of the enemies. And finally, you need to return to governing that land. Have you ever seen the map of Israel? On the coastal plain, it goes down the coast, and then suddenly there's like a big cutout. Have you ever seen somebody who's missing like a big front tooth that doesn't look quite right? That's what it looks like. Our map is missing a tooth. It's missing our ancestral land, which we've controlled many times throughout history. And here it is again, being called for to rectify the sin of the 2005 disengagement. And you, Prime Minister Netanyahu, are missing it. You're missing it. And it is endless frustration that you want to fight this 2-year war and in the end give away our land to others. It's spitting in the face of the self-sacrifice of thousands of people. And not to mention marriages and businesses that have gone down the toilet because we've fought so bravely, so valiantly to liberate Gaza and not to give it away to our enemies again and again. When are we going to break out of ghetto mentality? Prime Minister Netanyahu, this is your moment. Frankly, some people think that you're fighting this war to keep your political position. I say, I wish that you would actually care about your legacy. Because if you would change course, you would change gears and leave ghetto-ness and accept governance and sovereignty. Stop being afraid of ruling other people. It's not so bad. And they'll be thankful. They'll be happy. And they want you to rule Gaza. Believe me, the Gazans, they'll say it to you all the time. We prefer to see Israel govern here, just like in Judea and Samaria. Sissy policy also makes for a very bad narrative. There's no way to PR. There's no way to explain bad sissy narrative. Wimpy narrative. Doesn't work. Wimpy narrative does not work. Remember the beeper thing that you were so proud of, Prime Minister Netanyahu? It's the same moment. Have a big policy, a strong policy, a clear policy, and give decent people opportunities in the land of Israel. Yes, give them residency. Don't be afraid, okay? But make a clear policy. You want to destroy the Hamas, govern Gaza, release the hostages by force, give non-jihadists an opportunity to live in the land of Israel, of the Jewish state of land of Israel, if they so choose as residents. Clarity makes good narrative. good policy makes good for good PR, and bad policy and weakness and doing the same thing over and over again leads to nothing successful, just more death and more cycles of violence and more cycles of weakness, which is not tolerable in the Middle East. All right, folks, Yishai Fleisher broadcasting from Texas. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, of course. Check out the links below to support us, including fightforisrael.org and buymeacoffee.com/Yishai. Don't forget to become a member and check out our YouTube web store as one of our YouTube tabs. God bless you from Texas on the way to the land of Israel. Wherever you are, we march towards the good land, towards the service of God, towards closeness to Hashem, towards a third Beit HaMikdash, a third temple in Jerusalem, and towards blessings and prosperity that is channeled through Hashem, who gives us strength to be a strong Israel. God bless you wherever you are, and shalom.